Home athletes, Coach Morgan here, and it's Thursday. Let's do a workout. What do I have for you today? So I have a descending rep scheme, as you can see, 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3. So you have that mentally as a good sort of motivator to move forward, right? The next round is always going to be a little bit shorter than the round you're doing right now, so that's good. We're going to be alternating back and forth between two movements. We have some double dumbbell deadlifts and some hand release push-ups, right? So we have some lower body pushing and some upper body pushing. Don't forget, right, when I say deadlifts, a lot of people think you're pulling that weight off the ground. You're not. You're pushing that weight off the ground. You're driving your heels into the floor, right? Full foot force. You're using the full leg and pushing up, and that's how you do a deadlift, right? That's one of the reasons that our deadlift is usually our heaviest lift for anybody, and it's the most effective way to get a heavy weight up off the floor. More on that in a moment. So, but as you can see, I've spiced it up a little bit. So you're not just going back and forth between these two movements. You're actually doing a set of these two movements and then doing a quick 100-meter sprint after each set. So first round is going to be 21 deadlifts, 21 push-ups, 100-meter sprint. Second round, 18 deadlifts, 18 push-ups, 100-meter sprint. You get the idea. All the way down to the very last round, which will be 3 deadlifts, 3 push-ups, and a final 100-meter sprint. So get your 100-meter measured out, of course, 50 meters down, 50 meters back, so you end up back to your starting point. Of course, that should be a quick, talking like, 30 seconds or less there. Sprint is the keyword. And then our 2 lifting movements. So I have double dumbbells, right? That's what I have written in the board. Although you can deadlift a variety of objects. This could be a kettlebell, 2 kettlebells, 1 heavy dumbbell, any variety of weights would work here. So I like to demonstrate from the side so you can see what my hips are doing. This is very much a hip and posterior chain driven movement, right? We're using our glutes and our hamstrings and our hips. Feet stay flat on the floor, right about shoulder width apart, actually right about hip width apart. We send those hips back, right? You'll notice how I'm reaching my backside back behind me. That's good. I'm loading the hips. This is what you should do too. Knees stay relatively stationary. Shins stay vertical, right? It's a very hip movement. So hips go back stays nice and flat, belly stays nice and tight. We're going to tap those weights just outside the feet and stand right back up again. And again, the emphasis here is loading the hips and then pushing hard into the floor. Almost like you're trying to push your foot through the floor. And this is how we lift those weights, right? All legs. You've heard the phrase, lift with your legs, not your back. Well, they're talking about a deadlift, right? Most people don't know what that actually means. But yeah, it's deadlift, right? Really pushing, push. That lifts the heavy weights. Probably don't need to be super heavy today on the deadlifts because there's quite a few reps, as you can see. So kind of a lightish, moderate weight. Whatever you have to work with is fine. And then we're doing some upper body pushing, hand release push-ups. So if you have a hard time with these, feel free to scale these down. If necessary, scale those numbers down. I realize push-ups are hard, and we tend to fatigue easily. Athletes do, upper body, chest, shoulders, and all that. So you can leave the hand release part out if you need to. You can scale the movement by just making the numbers smaller, the reps. You can raise your hands up, right? So higher elevation means you're pushing less body weight. Maybe you have a chair or a box or a freezer or whatever it is. The higher the hands, the easier the movement, so you can scale it that way. We can also go knee push-ups if you want. But what we're looking at today, so a hand release push-up, just so you know, is we start at the top, right? Fully extended straight arms. Hips and knees are straight, belly's tight, butt's tight, quads are tight. We go all the way down to the floor. We lift the hands for a quick moment and then push right back up again, right? So go down, lift the hands, and push right back up again. So that is a very challenging version of a push-up, right? Because you cannot do anything but that full range of motion because your chest is actually resting on the floor at the bottom. So if necessary, don't do the hand release part. Or put your hands up onto a surface. And again, you're not going to do the hand release, right? If your chest is resting on a chair or whatever. So don't worry about the hand release part. Or, again, knee push-ups are an option here. Other thing I'll mention with the push-ups is make sure those elbows are not flaring out. I see a lot of this, right? The elbows are kind of doing this, I always call this the chicken wing. This is really not a good pressing position. It's not good for your shoulders. So you actually kind of want those elbows probably a little bit closer to your rib cage than to your shoulders, right? Probably about a 45-degree angle with the upper arm coming off of the shoulder, right? So keep the shoulders stay in relatively close. Think about like, some big mean guy who's coming up and getting your face and you want to push him away. It would be like that. This is basically where we should be doing our push-ups. Hands are right about chest level, little like, maybe outside the shoulders, and then push away, right? This is where our push-ups should be done. All right, so deadlifts, push-up, sprint. Deadlifts, push-up, sprint. You get the idea. Get that clock running, do the entire thing, try to get it done as quickly as possible. All right, get ready for warm-up. Warm-up, what do we need? We don't need anything, actually. Let me get my timer going. Sorry, I have 30 minutes. Sorry about that. I had it all set up, but sometimes it disconnects from the timer, whatever. All right, we're going to start with some forward lunges, right? We're going to stand in one spot. We're going to step it out, drop that back knee to the ground, bring the feet back together, and switch legs, right? Get ready for those lunges in the workout today. Actually, we're not doing lunges in the workout today. We're just warming up our legs. Tap the back knee to the ground, and push back. Tap the back knee to the ground, push back, right? The front leg's doing most of the work to push us back up to a standing position. And lunge. A few more seconds here. Here come the beats. 3, 2, 1. All right. Inchworm to push up down. Let's try to keep our legs relatively straight. We're going to put our hands on the ground, walk it out, do a push-up, and walk them back. Try that out a few times. Try to keep the legs relatively straight if you can. Walk it out. Do your best impersonation of a push-up, and walk them back. Try to get a few more reps in here. You got 15 seconds. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Glute bridges. Let's warm up those glutes a little bit. Let's get down on the floor. Feet are flat, upper back on the ground. We're going to raise those hips up. Squeeze your butt at the top and relax, right? So hips high, squeeze, a couple seconds here, and relax. Want to fully extend the hips and give those cheeks a really good squeeze at the top, right? We've got to get those glutes activated for our deadlifts today. Squeeze, 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 drive your heels into the floor. We got a few more seconds here for our glute bridges. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All right. We're going to go through that same sequence again. Let's go reverse lunges this time. Stay in one spot again. Bring it back. Tap the knee. Bring the feet together. And proceed. We're using that front leg, mostly the front leg, to drive ourselves back up into that standing position, right? This front leg does most of the work. Maybe a little bit of push on that last leg, but this leg right here is the one that should be bringing us back up to standing. A few more seconds here, a couple more little lunges. Here come the beats. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's do inchworm to push up again. I won't demonstrate it again. You did it before. Hands to the ground, walk it out, push it up, walk it back. 3, 2, 1, go. Inchworm to push-ups. And as always, we're just working a nice, easy warm-up pace. We're not trying to break any records here. I like the inchworm because obviously you have to push up in there and warm up your chest and shoulders, but also a little ab work as you're walking the hands in and out, right? You got to stay nice and tight in the middle. 10 more seconds here, guys. We're going to finish up with some more glute bridges here in a moment. 3, 2, 1. And then glute bridges, just as before. I like doing these, I'll do them with you. So feet are flat, push the heels down, raise the hips up, squeeze that butt. All right, and go. 30 seconds here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hips nice and high. Engaging our glutes at the top. Glutes ideally should be one of the stronger muscle groups in our body, but a lot of people just kind of use it for nothing but sitting out. So, but that's you guys, right? You're doing some deadlifts. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let me pause my timer. All right, you have your assignments. So remember, descending rep schemes today. That should keep you motivated to moving forward. Know that the next round is going to be a little bit shorter than the one you're doing right now. Push-ups, like I said, scale those numbers down and or the movement. Feel free to break up each set, right? Those first few sets, the 21, the 18, and 15, those are some pretty big sets of push-ups. So it's not like you have to do 21 in a row or 18 in a row. You know, do a few, take a little rest. Do a few more, take a little rest. With push-ups, it's a really good idea to not go all the way to failure, right? We should never go like at that very last, well, that's as many as I can do, because that takes a really long time to recover from that. So take a rest before you actually have to take a rest, right? You may be able to do like 6 or 7 in a row, so do 4 or 5. Take a little break, do a few more, take a little break, so break those up. Same thing with the deadlifts. Again, don't go too heavy on those. It's a really high rep scheme on the deadlifts today, so use what you got, make sure it's not too heavy. And go quick on those sprints, guys. 100-meter sprints should be a good workout. I'll talk to you tomorrow.